Hello friends and gamers. This is obviously not the regular type of video I bring you on this playlist. What I'm doing right now is I am changing out the control stick on my Oculus controller. The right controller has had some control drift issues, and so I decided, since I've had similar issues with the Joy-Cons on the Nintendo Switch, that I would get a repair kit. That's this what I'm pulling out right here, and we're going to go ahead and switch out the controller and let's see how it goes. So the first step is to take off the cover for the battery and take the battery out. Then we're going to peel the sticker off because the screws to get that out are behind the sticker. Now I want you to notice there are actually 3 stickers right there. It's important to notice because I didn't notice all 3. I just had 2 of them, and then that was confusing a bit later. So we unscrew the screws here, and I really recommend that you make a list of where each screw goes, or say 3 go in the handle and 8 go in the top, or however many it is. And if you have any irregular screws, make a note about, the black long one goes here, or the really long shiny one goes here, because I didn't do that. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm now trying to pop up the black plate that's on the buttons, and it has some adhesive. So you want to take your time on this so you don't just snap the whole thing. Just kind of work your way around what you can here. And I had to get a screwdriver because this was on strong enough that it was breaking the little plastic tools that it gave me. So it didn't have the screwdriver in this, but I had to bring my own. So just work your way around the adhesive here, and then yeah, you can go past like I'm doing right here. And you can pop the whole thing off bit by bit. Gross. Okay, on the inside we have a bunch of different screws we're going to get out. Yeah, sorry for the bad view sometimes. It was hard to get it where I could see it and you could see it. Hey, if you have a even shorter screwdriver than this, it would be handy, because the screwdriver kind of gets in the way, or the what would you call that, protection ring or detection ring on the controller? It kind of gets in the way of the screwdriver sometimes, and you have to get some of these at a little bit of an angle. But it would probably be okay here just to keep track of how many screws there are. But when you occasionally come out with one of the irregular ones, like on mine there was a really long silver one, and there was one long black one, and the others were pretty well the same. But those two, I think that's why my finger detection on the controller isn't quite as accurate, is because of that. Now you can push this latch right here, and that's going to let you pull an outer ring off of the controller's ring. See, it goes right there, and there's adhesive on one side that it doesn't want to let go. Actually, there's adhesive in the middle. Yeah, here it is. It's like the controller's guts. Look at that. Ugh. But I just pulled that off, no problem. And I think I missed a screw in there somewhere. I had to go back and get. That's a recurring theme. So if that happens to you, don't worry. It happens to the okayest of us. And then here I'm trying hard to pull this part of the controller off because I know that it goes next, but I've missed a screw in the battery compartment. And eventually I figure that out. Yeah, I pry in here a little bit, and I managed to get the that little string, the little wrist lanyard thing. I managed to get that pulled off. I managed to stab myself in the hand with the screwdriver, but don't worry, I eventually figured out that I just missed a screw. And then once you figure that out, the rest is easy as you pleasy. And now we're really getting down into the guts of the thing. And here you can reach in and pop off, just pull the control stick up, the cover for the stick. It'll just snap right off. There's a spring under it too, but you can leave the spring for now. It's connected. There we go. I think I discovered another screw that was missing. But once I got that done, then it came off. Now, you can't pull this piece straight off. You cannot. There is a ribbon back there that's connected, and it's really difficult to see this. But you flip a little toggle, a little switch, where the ribbon goes into the circuit board. You got to get these little tiny tweezers or some other tiny tool, and you just flip a little flat lever up, and that will release the ribbon, so that you can pull it out, and then you can take these apart. If you try to pull them apart without doing this, it's going to rip up the circuitry, and then you're going to be having a bad day. I did not rip up the circuitry, at least not yet, so I'm not having a bad day, at least not yet. Here's another one of those. You can see this one better. This one's smaller, but you just flip this teeny tiny little switch on that. There it goes. And then you can, be careful not rip anything, but you can carefully pull this ribbon out there. There we are. And now it's safe to pull out, but good luck getting it out. This took a little figuring. You have to do some wiggling. You'll have to lift that circuit board up away from the plastic a little bit. But, if you do it too much, you might lose a button or snap something. So you will have to put a little encouragement to it. Oh, look, I left another screw. Well, isn't that nice? There are 3 screws on this, and it took me a while to realize I needed to take all 3 of them out to take this piece out. This big silver square, that's the bottom of the thumbstick on the controller. It's a little tricky, but it's not nearly as tricky as getting the new one back in. Whew, finally. Okay, once that's out, just stick the spring on the new one. Set it down drop it, that's good for it. And then set it down right on the new one. And then the hard part's getting that thing back in without tearing everything up. So wiggle waggle your best. Think about it real hard. Struggle bust your way through it. We've eventually somehow got it back in. Stick the ribbon back in there where it goes. Flip the switch down to lock it in place. This is the hardest ribbon to get in because you basically have to get this completely snapped back into place or almost exactly back into place for the ribbon to fit. And when it does, it's so dark and tight back in there, it's really hard to see if you're getting it done. So you may need an extra light. I think I gave up on filming and I held it underneath the kitchen light so that I could really see down in there. And then stick the ribbon back in, flip the switch, and now we can start putting things back together, snapping pieces back on, putting screws back in. Double check that all the buttons press before you really get it put back together, because if anything is bound up, you want to find out about it now before you have to unscrew the whole thing to fix it. Right about now is when I'm realizing that not all of these screws are the same size and color. Oh yeah, you'll also want to put that ring back on because some of the screws will go into the ring to hold it in place. I think about 2 of those do. And here, look, I put the plate on, and then I realized, hey, wait a minute, the control stick has to go down first, so I had to take the plate back off, then get the control stick down. It's funny, the black plate went on easy the first time, but then when I had to take it back off to put the thumbstick back down, then it didn't want to come back on for me. I really had to fiddle with it to get it going the right way. But you get it all in place. Make sure you don't get any debris down in there. And screw everything in. Put your battery back in and test it. Make sure it works. And if it does, then you're happy. And if it doesn't, then you cry a little bit and you try again. Okay, I hope this was useful and entertaining, but that's the whole video. Bye.